Hello everyone and welcome to another Bimmer Fixer video, and in this video I'm going to show you how to restore your gear shifter in your BMW e60 and e90. As you can see by mine's starting to flake everywhere and make a mess, and also has worn down to the base plastic there at the front. So this is quite a common issue. I say I've done 150,000 miles now in my e60, so it's kind of to be expected. But yeah, it makes a mess and it looks horrible. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this centerpiece of trim. We're going to rub it down, paint it and reinstall it. So I'll show you how to do that. And what we're going to need to do this are some trim removal tools, and we're going to need a flathead screwdriver. Paint wise, I'm going to use the same brand that I've used before on the trim material, which is the Rust-Oleum all-purpose paint. This one's an interior one and in gunmetal grey, which I think will look quite nice on there. I really do like the Rust-Oleum guys. I mean, that's the brand I used on my steering wheel when that was peeling, and also the start button area down there as well. We're going to need some sandpapers. So I've got an array here. I'm going to go with, I'm going to hit it with 400 first, then 800, then 1000 grit. I think that should give us a nice surface to then paint on. And then got some rubbing alcohol, so you're going to need some rag as well to go with that. So that should be pretty much everything we're going to need to do it. You can do this in situ. You can just pop the shifter into neutral. You can try and get the trim removal tools down the side there and there, and then you can kind of pry up. But I have found that to be quite tricky in the past. So what we probably will have to do is remove the whole shifter, which isn't very tricky. All you need to do is to pop it into neutral, push the button down at the front, and then kind of get a good grip on it, and then wiggle and pull up, and that's it, and that's the shifter off. So as I say, you can do it in situ, and sometimes it's a little bit easier to do that, so you can always just pop it back in if you need to, if you need something to put it on, if you haven't got a vise or a bench to work on. But we're going to try and do it by hand actually in the car like that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to get the trim removal tools ready and everything ready, and then I'll show you how to start to remove it. Okay, so what you need to do is, if you get your small flathead screwdriver, if you push the button down, okay, that gives you a little bit more room here. And if you look in, I can't get enough light in there for you to see it, but if you look in through this gap, you'll see over in this side here, you'll see one of the little grey tabs. You'll see it better in a minute. And then on the other side, you'll see the other one. So you kind of just want to try and get the screwdriver in there and gently pry up a little bit. It will feel like it's going to break. You've got to kind of have to use your initiative a little bit. If you're swinging off it, then you're probably not quite in the right place. But if you put the tip of the screwdriver at the base of that clip and then lever up, it will eventually go. So once you kind of get it up a little bit, it'll lift up once the clips disengage. Then you can get your trim removal tool and you can pop that in and you can lift up. That's probably a better way to do it, because you can go in and then just gently lift up, and then it will unclip like that. Okay, so these are the little clip bits that I was just talking about. So when you go in through the gap, these are the little bits you need to kind of look at and try and get them to disengage. Okay, so now that's out, we can slide it all the way out, and then we can get ready to rub this down and get ready to paint it. Okay, so now the trim's off, you can really see how bad it actually is and why it just wouldn't be worth picking that layer off and having that shiny underneath, because it's down to the plastic in some places. So what we'll do, we're going to start with the 400 grit, then we're going to go with 800, and then we're going to finish up with 1000, see what that's like, and then we'll be ready to paint. Okay, so we've gone over with the 400 grit sandpaper. There were some places where the scratches were quite deep and the peeling was quite bad, so we had to use 200 grit sandpaper. So just an FYI, you may need 200 grit sandpaper as well as the 400, the 800, and possibly the 1000 as well. But yeah, so we've gone over, we've got the worst of the damage off. I can't see any deep scratches now, and it's looking, I'm feeling pretty smooth. So what we'll do now, we'll go over with the 800, see what it looks like after that. We may not need to use 1000, but we'll judge it after we've gone over with the 800. Okay, so this is the neighbour's cat. So what we've done, we've gone over with the 800 now. I don't think we're going to need to go over with 1000. It feels fine, looks okay. So what we'll do, we won't worry about 1000. So that was the 200 grit, 400, and then we finished with the 800, and we didn't use 1000. You might need 1000 if you've got some final little blemishes you want to get out, but I think we're going to be fine. So what we're going to do now is going to get some alcohol rub. We're going to rub it down, and then we're ready to paint. So we will pop our alcohol rub on here. And we just want to clean off any of the last bits of dust left over from the sanding. This is also a good opportunity to just double check that there aren't any deep scratches left or anything that we've missed. I'm pretty sure. Okay, I think that's going to be good enough. So we'll get this set up and then we'll go grab the paint. Right, okay, so now we are ready for paint. It's the same as always. Make sure that you're in a dust-free area. You've prepped the surface properly. So we've just gone over some degreaser, some alcohol rub, just to make sure there's nothing on there. To paint, make sure that it's at room temperature at least, so you can warm it up with a heat gun if you need to. Give it a good shake for a couple of minutes. Make sure it's all mixed up properly. And then again, when you go to spray it, don't actually spray or start spraying aiming at the thing you're painting. Aim away from it and then come across it. We're going to try and give this, I reckon, 3 or 4 coats. So give the first one will be a light dusting, and then we'll build up gradually as we're going along. So yeah, here we go. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but that, ladies and gentlemen, is the sound of a World War II hurricane. Awesome. Okay, so that's our first coat applied. Left it for about 15 minutes, and within which a Spitfire then flew over. Unfortunately I didn't have the camera on at the time, which is a shame, but hopefully it'll come back. So yeah, so that's the first coat done. Now we're going to give it a second. We'll make this one slightly thicker, and then see how we are after the second coat. It's looking good though. I really do like the colour. Okay, so that's where we are so far after our second coat. The camera doesn't really do it justice, but it does look really good. I really like the colour, but it is definitely going to need a third, so we will give it a third coat. I forgot to mention again, like I've used before in my previous videos, you can use a heat gun just to help the drying process in between coats. Just again, be wary of stuff that's around that can blow up onto it. Okay, so yeah, we're going to give this the third coat, and and then maybe a fourth. Okay, so this is our trim after 3 coats. Looking really good. I'm really impressed with it. Oh, sorry, it's the cat come back again, knocking the camera. So yeah, that's 3 coats. Really impressed with the paint. Love the finish. Love the colour. So this is the gunmetal grey. Hello, mate. Yeah, so really impressed with the coverage. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give it four coats. So I'll give it a fourth, just to give it a bit of extra strength. Where it's on the shifter, just worried that it's going to take quite a beating and end up maybe getting damaged. So yeah, I'll give it a fourth and final coat and then we'll be done. Just an FYI, when you go to paint it, try your best to support it on those clips there. If you put it down on a surface on the corners of the trim, what you might find is that it will get stuck to the bottom, and then when you go to lift it, you'll end up having rough paint edges on there. So me and my neighbour's cat are going to give it a fourth coat and then we'll see what it looks like after that. And there we go. So there's our trim all dried and back in place on our lever. So that paint, I'm really impressed with that paint. I would definitely recommend it. Obviously you can choose any colour you'd like, but I've gone for that gunmetal grey, and it's left a lovely finish. Yeah, so all there is to putting it back, all you need to do is line up those 4 little runners on the back here. So it just slides in from the top. Make sure they're all lined up properly. You'll know if they're not, it just won't go in properly or it'll look out of place. And then when it comes to those 2 clips at the top, it'll stop, just push through those, and then it'll lock into place. And then after that, once it's all done, all you need to do is pop it back into the shifter assembly itself, and it is just as simple as it came out. You just pop it back in, line it up, wiggle it, and then you'll find that it sits, and then just give it a push down. That's it, and that's all there is to it. So make sure the button still works, which it does. Obviously when the engine's running you can go through the gears and everything, but I'm pretty confident that that's in, because it's not twisting or anything and it feels secure, so I know that's back in, and that's all there is to it. So looks 1,000 times better. I'm really impressed with that. So if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've got any questions at all, please ask away in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. And on that note, thanks awfully for all my current subscribers. I really do appreciate you guys. It makes it all worthwhile, and it's nice to know that I'm helping people and they're enjoying the content. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks guys, take care, bye bye.